Hi everyone, welcome to a video for day 2 of the 2015 Cheltenham Festival. Hopefully by now we've got a few quid in the bank and ready to roll for day 2. Well, day 2 starts with the Neptune Hurdle. Very interesting race this year. I think it's wide open. A horse I'd like to start with here is one for Alan King called Orbo Ab Chow. He's a course and distance winner. The going is fine. He's been put out for this race. He's not one of those horses that's been multiple entered, it seems, only in 2, and this one looks like the one he's going to go for. I think he's got a great chance here. Nichols Canyon, who was originally the Supreme Novice on the Tuesday, looks like this is going to be his pick, and for what it's worth, I think it's the right one. 2 miles, I don't know, he didn't look like a natural 2-miler, but obviously 3 miles would have to be taken on trust, so I think this intermediate 2.5-mile trip is ideal. Willie Mullins seems to rate the horse quite highly and must have a great chance. My idea of the winner on this one, though, is a horse trained by John Ferguson, and it's got the champ on board, Tony McCoy, in his last festival, and that is a horse called Parlour Games. The one thing about this horse is how well he travels through the races. It's amazing to see just basically how well he moves. You can always spot him in that old black colours from a mile out. He was a course and distance winner, beating Black Lion, who was a horse I quite rate actually, a couple of starts ago, and he did meet trouble in running after the last and still had enough to pick up, so the trip will be fine. I think he's got a good engine, moves well, and with getting the full McCoy drive, 6-1 as well, it's a good each way price. That's my idea I'm looking at for the winner. Others to mention, Vita de Rock for the Henderson Yard. He will be better on this better ground. The one thing I would say is that all of his winning distances have been very small and just nearly getting run down towards the end. So the question is going to be will he stay this trip fully up the hill? That's the reason he didn't make it into my top 3. Windsor Park is a very good horse, but if you're looking at the form line that he has through Nichols Canyon and also a horse called Outlander, you would suggest he's got something to find on both of them. Outlander's another horse with a good chance, but all of his wins on soft. It's a very competitive renewal, but the 1, 2, 3 I'm looking at here is Parlour Games from Nichols Canyon and Orbo Ab Chow. The RSA Chase is next, and what's going to make up the market here is what's going to happen with Coney Gree. Obviously Coney Gree's been a revelation over fences. He's a good hurdler before he got injured anyway, but will he go the Gold Cup or will he not? The thing which is making my decision hard here is Coney Gree, King's Palace and Southfield Theatre are all likely to front run. Southfield Theatre we had last year at 20-odd to 1 in the hurdle race and it just got nabbed on the line. I think he's made a better chaser. Whether he's at this standard I don't know, but either way, whether he is or not, he's going to help make the pace. King's Palace always goes from the front, and the nag I've got with this horse is he really badly let us down in the hurdle race last year when he just didn't want to know at any point really, and for that reason I think Coney Gree, he's got a great chance, but he will get pestered for the lead. Now the horse that's of interest here for me is Don Poley for the Mullins Yard. I really wish it had run, as I said in another video, on the 4-miler, but the more I've looked at this race in the last 24 hours, I think there's going to be bags of pace on. This horse jumps well, moves well and stays all day, and I can see him running him down after the last fence, and I think he's got a really, really good chance, Don Poley. Another interesting horse here is the Young Master with Barry Gerritiel. Obviously he was disqualified from the Badger Ales chase earlier in the season because he didn't fulfil the requirements, but came out at Ascot after that and absolutely walked up. This is an actual step up in class. I know he's up there in the top of the market, rightfully so. He's been running in high handicaps and listed races. It's obviously a grade 1, so it'll take some winning, but I think the Young Master has got a really good chance here, but it'll take some horse I think to beat Don Poley. It's a cracking renewal, and my 1, 2, 3 I'm going for here is Don Poley from the Young Master and Coney Gree. Apologies for that, left my notes down there. The Coral Cup is a bit of a nightmare race. It's always big prices, and the horses who are entered in this are usually in the Martin Pipe Hurdle, the Fred Winter, the County, you name it. So I picked out 6 here, and I'll go down to a 3. Whether they all run or not, I don't know. Gardle Victoire's obviously done very, very well all season, including at the course, but I get this gut feeling he needs soft ground, this horse. Of real big interest is Au Petit Soir for Paul Nicholls. He's on an absolute featherweight based on his only hurdle start and win at Auteuil in France. You've got to have to trust you go on the go-in. It was very soft in France last year, and in the Fred Winter, Paul Nicholls took, I think it was the Fred Winter, Cat Gary from France on a decent mark, and he would have won if he didn't meet this really bad trouble in running, and you never know, he could be planning something similar here. Tiger Roll is interesting for me because this horse is clearly a spring horse. Look through his form, he does bits and bobs, but as soon as the spring comes, he comes alive. Big factor as well, he's 2 for 2 at Cheltenham. Step up in trip here, but the going should be fine. He's a spring horse, goes well here, and on a decent mark, 14 to 1 could be a good price for him. A really interesting one is Una 2. Una 2 for Willie Mullins was really fancied for the Supreme Novice behind Champagne Fever 2 years ago and came fourth. He just got a bit het up in the early stages, went too hard and found nothing after the last. He's had a really poor time chasing. He just hasn't looked in love with chasing, to be honest with you, which is a surprise given his breeding. But back over hurdles and 2.5 mile trip, given how well he was beforehand, he could be thrown in at 16 to 1. Tony Martin's sending over a horse called Blackmail from Ireland who looks again potentially on a really good mark. All of his best form through his career is on good ground, and during the season he lands some unbelievable handicap touches, does Martin, so keep an eye on that one. At a huge price as well, Henryville's interesting. He's clearly not been staying 3 miles in his last couple of runs, but he's come back in trip now. He's been dropped a few pounds because of it. The ground's ideal. 25 to 1's a big price. You could back worse horses. Most bookmakers are paying top 5 on this. I think Corals are actually going to be paying top 6 on this one, so keep an eye out for that. But in terms of a 1, 2, 3 I'm looking at, I'm going to look at Una 2, Tiger Roll, and you'd have to put that Nichols horse in there because if that's anything, then that could be thrown in. So that's my 1, 2, 3. The Queen Mother this year is absolutely wide open. Last year was an interesting one because obviously Sprinter Sacre wasn't in it. He's back now after his heart problem. His first run back I was really pleased with it. People were like, oh, he got beat. Dodging Bullets had already won. He'd run a race at Cheltenham, he'd won another race, he had had the Queen Mother, he was battle hardy, he was fit, he was ready, and he's got the softer ground which is more in Dodging Bullets' favour, and he was there till the last and just blew up. And to be honest with you, Barry Geraghty didn't give him a hard time afterwards. He said straight away he'll come on leaps and bounds for it. To get ready for this, I've actually watched a video on YouTube of every one of Sprinter Sacre's races up until the championship, up until his mishap, at Kempton. You can't get over how good this horse was, and I agree with Nicky Henderson. Even looking at what's in the field, if he's at 70% what he was, it will take an unbelievable horse to beat him. And Sprinter Sacre, that you've got to think with a legendary status horse like this, they're not going to risk him if he's not ready. That's my gut feeling. Sierra de Grugy, the champ, is back, which earlier this season you would think he was not going to be. He'd had all sorts of troubles, but fair play to the Mooryard, they got him back and ready. His jumping was appalling on his comeback run. He didn't take a cut at any fences, and to be honest with you, he was beaten when he fell. He's come out next time and won really well at Chepstow, but what's he beat? He beat absolutely nothing, so it's hard to gain what he's actually done there. He might have restored his confidence a bit, but he's the reigning champ, so he's entitled to respect. Next in the market is Dodging Bullets now. I tipped this up last season and I think it was in the Arkle. I've got a huge question mark against this horse. Yeah, it won a couple of average races earlier in its career, over course and distance. But last year in the Arkle, he got there, looked like he was going to go through, didn't fully get up the hill. Then first time out this season, looked like he was going to get up the hill and ended up not even getting placed. I think the going might be a bit too fast for him as well. I've got some question marks. Do you know what? He deserves to be towards the head of the market because the Tingle Creek is the ultimate trial for this, and he's done nothing wrong in that, and obviously beat Sprinter Sacre since. But it's a brave one to back Dodging Bullets, I think, at 11 to 2. The one who would take him on if I was going to do it with that is Champagne Fever, because he's got the beating the Dodging Bullets on going and course and distance and going in the Arc last year. Now, okay, he had a fall behind Don Cossack. I think Don Cossack would have taken him 2 starts ago. And the one thing I would say is he ran a cracker as well, this horse, in the King George, so he's clearly versatile. The back down to 2 miles is possibly a concern as he's getting older, but you know he'll stay the trip. And Champagne Fever comes alive at Cheltenham. He would have won the Arkle but for that late run by Western Warhorse last year. Before then he won the Supreme Novice, I think it was, wasn't it? And then the year before that he won the Bumper. And you can't go through a video on this and not mention Old Size in Europe if he's there. He had a really good comeback run, but last time out he was a shadow of his former self, to be honest with you. it's got to be a race too far for him, but you know, you can't not mention size in Europe. At this stage, you just want to see him run a good race and come home safely. He deserves, and they will retire him after Wednesday, I think, if he doesn't run to his full amount. You want him, you'd hope they're not just doing it for one final hurrah, and I hope he gets home safe, so you've got to mention him. Mr. Mole is very interesting. He's suddenly a reformed character this year, but you say he's a reformed character. Last time out when he beat Sprinter Sacre, he got himself dropped at the start, and he has got that temperament problem in it. He can be held up, he can be front run, he's on the improve. But do you know what? Kid Cassidy the other year was very, very similar to that, where everyone said, oh, he's a reform character on the improve, and come the big day, just didn't find it. I think he'll run a good race, but I just don't think he'll find us the improvement necessary to win a Queen Mother. It's a fascinating renewal. My 1, 2, 3 this year is Sprinter Sacre from Champagne Fever and Sire de Grugy. Cross-country race, I'll only spend a bit of time on this. The interesting ones are the 4 who have got the main course and distance experience. Starting off with my fancy for this, which is Any Currency. You remember I tipped him up in this last year, and he got beaten literally on the line by the all-weather king, the cross-country king, that is, Balthazar King. On his comeback, he needed his comeback run, he always did. People are reading into it, well, Sierra Collonge beat him on his comeback run. Any Currency always needs his comeback run, and then on the back of that, he then came out and absolutely routed quantitative easing over course and distance. It was 12 lengths, he could have made it 20 if he felt like it. Jumped amazing that day. Yes, he's got a penalty for winning and quantitative easing hasn't, but will that £7 be enough on this? I don't think it will be to turn the form around. The one slight worry I have is his quantitative easing came out in Ireland next time and got beat at odds on, so that is a bit of a worry. And one thing I would say, they said they wanted to keep him fresh for this, but as I said, he needs his first run. The freshness is the only worry I have with Any Currency. He will come off the bridle, you will be panicking 10 out, but if he can get his jumping back together, he will keep coming. Aidan Coleman gets on well with him, great chance. Chicago Grey, if he finds any type of form again, will be a big danger, but that's a big if. And Sire Collonge, yeah, while he beat Any Currency, the one thing I want everyone to do here, go on Racing Post and look at this horse's spring form between March and May. He's done nothing at all in the spring. He seems to be a winter horse, and he seems to be over the top by now. He's a bit fresher, however, than what he has been in previous years, and that could be a big thing. I could see him running better than he usually does. Interesting one from France as well, a horse called Tutankhamon. He's done well there. The worry I have is everything's been in soft, the go-in, and do you know what, taken to a new course like this, they have cross-country courses over there, nothing like this, so it's a fascinating renewal again. But my 1, 2, 3 I'm looking at here is Any Currency from Quantitative Easing and Sire Collonge. The Fred Winter's always a nightmare race, and the one thing that I'm actually going to do here is just pick out 4 horses because a load of them multiple entered. Interesting as always is a handicapper from Gordon Elliott, and I'm looking at Hostile Fire here. He knows what it takes to train the winners of this race, and if he improves, because he's only had 2 starts, it was a maiden and then a novice race, and so if he basically is on a decent mark here, he could be thrown in, so he's worthy of all the respect. Arabian Revolution has a form line through a horse called Beltor, and that's looking quite strong because he got beaten by Beltor, but Beltor since come out and won the Adonis and is quite strongly fancied for the Triumph. So on a form line, you've got to think Arabian Revolution's got a chance. Again, the poll no all form on soft, this quicker going, it's a bit of a shot in the dark. All Yours has even closer ties to Beltor than Arabian Revolution, because he was the horse that actually came second to him in the Adonis. It could be on a nice mark, and I think that's why they're both the same, because that form line ties in Arabian Revolution with All Yours. A horse I do like though, it's 16 to 1, and I think it's trained by the Snowden Yard, is a horse called Sariam. He's only had 2 starts, and that was last summer, both on good going. On the first one he went too early, or the second one he went too early I think it was at Fosslas in heavy going, and he just got caught late on. So one thing I would say is the start before that was on better, quicker going, and he was really, really impressive. He's got a really good weight, and interesting here, I think it's Michael Nolan, a claimer, has been bought on this horse for the last 4 weeks, and I've been following it because it's a horse since it was there, so clearly they think he's on a good mark and they're taking more off. That could run a massive race, and that, do you know what, that's going to be my pick, I think. My 1, 2, 3 here, based on who we think might be running, is Sarian from Hostile Fire and probably actually All Yours. The bumper, as always, this should be called the Willie Mullins bumper. I wish they'd split the bumper into two, have one just for the Mullins horses to run against each other and one for the rest. But they're never going to do that, are they? Of the Mullins horses, Unquour de Tour's interesting. He was an easy 3 mile point winner on good. He's had one bumper win, done absolutely everything you want. Been kept off it since, could be anything. The other Mullins horse that I'm looking at is Pile on the Pressure. He was a very good bumper winner. What I like about this horse, and while I'm going to be doing a couple in this race, I'm definitely doing him, he's won front running and he's run holding up, so he's tactically versatile. And don't worry if Ruben Walsh isn't on it, because as he's seen, sometimes they get this one wrong. Moon Racer is an interesting one for David Pipe. He's had 2 starts, including an impressive course and distance winner. However, look at this, only the second that day has come out and won a race since, which was, I think it was Arabian something or other. Every other horse that's come out since has lost every race it's been in, so that form line's questionable. Vigil came 5th in this last year. And once again, Golantilla tried to do it. It's unlikely that they improved for another year. Golantilla tried it last year and it didn't happen. He won okay on his comeback without being massively impressive. He's worthy of his place in the mention, but I'd be surprised if he won. Wait For Me was impressive on his only start, but once again, is he experienced enough for this? The Hobbs Yard racing, Richard Johnson attached himself to it very early on, but having one start in your entire career and then going for the champion bumper takes some doing. Bordini has done nothing wrong for Willie Mullins, but my one worry I have on this, everything's on soft, so they're going. If you're looking for something at a huge price, have a look at Bay of Freedom for Peter Fahey. He only won twice last summer. The first time he was held up too much and he came flying through, going on towards the finish, but they left him too much. Then the time after that they learned, and it was good going again, came through and won easy. He goes well fresh, clearly. But does he have the class for this? It's 40 to 1, in fact 50 to 1 it looks like, with Sporting, what's this one? Oh, Boyle Sport, sorry. So, do you know what, if you're looking to have a bit of a play around on something at a monster price, maybe that's your one. But we're looking for a 1, 2, 3 here, and I'm actually going to put him in. My 1, 2, 3 for this race is Pile on the Pressure from Unquour de Tour, and I'm also happy to put Bay of Freedom in at 40 to 1. Why not? For that price. I hope this has been useful, as you've been doing already, which is great. Some really great comments on the videos. Put down what you fancy on this day, what you think, etc. And yeah, day 3 will be coming up soon. Bye bye.